There are thousands of games on Steam, if not tens of thousands, and more are added every single day. In 2024 alone, there's been 18,021 games on Steam. So with this many games, that can't mean that every single game is good. And as far as I've seen, not all of them are. Sometimes there are some pretty bad games on Steam. So hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back, and today we're going to be looking at the worst games on Steam. We're looking at games that truly have awful reviews. I honestly don't even know if I have time to talk about half the games I want to talk about. There's so many. Okay, so this one is just funny. Overwatch 2 is one of the worst reviewed games on Steam by far. I assume the main complaint is the fact that it replaced a perfectly working game with a stupid dum-dum game, which makes sense. I purchased the original Overwatch and now I can't even play it. Instead, it's been replaced with whatever the hell this thing is. And now that I've played Overwatch 2, yeah, what happened there? Firstly, the amount of wasting time I did to try and play Overwatch 2 is insane. So I have the game on Steam, but first I need to get a Battle.net account. Then I need to connect my phone number. Then I need to do some training. Then I need to do some more training. And finally then, you can actually play a game of Overwatch 2. There was no need whatsoever to make Overwatch 2, considering every single new thing that they were going to add was completely thrown out and not even implemented. Now there's a battle pass too, seemingly taken straight from Fortnite and the such. And it's just so dumb. It's really not needed, and it takes forever to get into a game too. I mean, come on, what's even the point of playing the game if no one else wants to play? The game is just so damn boring. The main thing with Overwatch 2 that led to its mostly negative reviews on Steam are seemingly the fact that they were making a co-op campaign. You know, the entire reason for making the sequel, and they completely just chucked it out of the window, which is so dumb. What's even the point of upgrading to Overwatch 2 when the original Overwatch does every single thing that this game does, but better? Oh, they got rid of the original game. Overwatch 2 is a complete mess of a game, and it's shocking that this game ever even saw the light of day in this state. But that's not all that Steam has. We also have an insane amount of Portal and Portal 2 mods. And most of them are really good, like Portal Revolution, Portal Stories Mel, Aperture Tag is quite fun. But there's some that are really not so great. So let's start at the one that's okay, and then we'll go down the list of the worst and worst ones. Let's begin with the least bad one, Thinking with Time Machine. This game has very positive reviews on Steam, but once you actually play it, it's like just okay. Thinking with Time Machine takes place after the events of Portal 2, revealing the fact that at the end of Portal 2, instead of going into the open and escaping Aperture, you only have the illusion of escaping Aperture before realizing that the facility has one more thing up its sleeve. Now you're thrown into a whole new strand of test chambers with one new gimmick, a handheld time machine. This almost acts as if it's a single player version of co-op. You often have to use a recording of your past self in order to beat certain test chambers. But it honestly gets to the point where that's just boring after a while. But the mod is still incredibly well made for the most part, and I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's still a somewhat enjoyable mod. But where we move on to hell is the next one, Portal Lost in Aperture. Now this mod used to be so much worse. When I played this one, the mod was practically unplayable. But as time has gone on, the mod has actually gotten to be in an okay state. It's still not up to the same quality as like any of the other Portal mods that are really good, but it's still alright. Portal Lost in Aperture is a interesting interpretation of the Portal series. It's clearly the developer's first time ever making a mod at this scale, and it's really nice to see the community actually helping out on occasion in the reviews for the game. The main premise is that you're lost in Aperture, but there's multiple ways of getting to the end. Yeah, this mod has multiple pathways. I think the mod has come a really long way from the first time I played it. When I first downloaded it, it was kinda unplayable. It really wasn't that fun to begin with, but now that I've had more and more time with it, and watched it get almost weekly updates at this point, I think the mod is in a much better place than it was when I first played it. The worst Portal mod that I have ever played through is Portal Forbidden Testing Tracks. If you ignore Portal 2 Confinement, which I don't think we need to talk about. why it may not be so great. But God, Portal Forbidden testing tracks is really, really bad. Now this one truly feels as if it was the first time this person has ever made a Portal 2 mod. It is riddled with levels clearly made with the inbuilt level editor, which is completely fine, that is what it is made for. But when it comes to releasing a mod on Steam, you kinda want it to be a bit better than something made in the inbuilt level editor. The game also has heaps of AI voices, and just strange decisions. The trailer is weird. Everything about the mod is weird. I do think that what this mod has that is original to the mod are really cool additions to Portal. I think everything surrounding those things though just isn't very good. It's not really worth playing. It's got such good ideas that it could do, but it just doesn't execute it that well. You ready for some more free Steam trash? Paintball War. Where do I even get started? The first time I played Paintball War, it was 2019, and my god, I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. Paintball War is a very simple shooting game where you shoot your opponents with paintballs. The screenshots on Steam make this game look really good, but if you play the damn thing, it doesn't look like that. The game actually looks awful compared to that. There's an insane amount of glitches and stuff in the game. It just isn't fun. Fun fact, there's a sequel called Paintball War 2, and that's where all the fancy screenshots are from. They're from the sequel. The first game doesn't even launch anymore. It just tells you to buy their second game, which isn't even free. This one was free. It's the complete opposite of the Overwatch situation. You can still download the original game on Steam, but it doesn't do anything. This game is actually just funny. The whole series is hilarious to me. This company, Z Software, has made several games in this series and other games too, and every single one of them have like the worst reviews physically possible. I'm playing the first game in the series and oh my god, it's so dumb. Autobahn Police Simulator. That's the game I was talking about. You're a police officer, and you do police stuff, I think. I really didn't know what was going on. The game is so hilarious though. Like, the way the characters move, the cars, it's funny. But the amount of loading screens between each section of the game kinda ruins it. I was really hoping that the game would be that type of game that's not very good, but it's kinda fun to play. But the amount of loading screens and poor choices really let the game down. The game is just really boring, janky, and dull. I was really hoping that this game would have something unique to offer, but it really doesn't. Sonic the Hedgehog 4. I can't believe this is what is officially known as Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Granted, today I'm only going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1, but just know, Episode 2 isn't really that good either. Sonic 4 was developed by Dimps, who had previously developed the portable Sonic games like the Sonic Advance series, Sonic Rush, and Sonic Colors DS, with some assistance from the Sonic team. It was done to have Sega cater to both the older gamers and the newer players at the same time, so they would have this one called Sonic 4 that is for the older players that like the Genesis games, and then they also have new games like Sonic Unleashed. It was kinda like the new Super Mario Bros. Of the Sonic series, so to speak. Sonic 4 though was never supposed to be the Sonic 4. It was meant to be just a game for your smartphone that plays like a Sonic game, which makes far more sense. Eventually though, the game released on all platforms, and let's just say the game wasn't loved by fans. The critics though, they ate this up. Until Sonic Mania came out anyway. And after playing Sonic 4, my god, that is not a good game. Look, the game isn't terrible, it really isn't, but it's not good. The game is really ugly, to be honest. It's like almost good, but it's not all the way there yet when it comes to its looking good. There's of course the classic gravity-defying skills that you can do as Sonic, which I do hope you're holding space for, and I do get why they did this, but it kinda takes you out of the illusion. Everything about the game just feels so cheap. It feels like a cheap attempt to make a 2D modern Sonic game. If this was a fan game, this would be really impressive, I think. but because this is made, or published anyway, by Sega, you expect there to be some sort of quality, but that just isn't here. The game is okay, I guess, but literally any other 2D Sonic game is better than this. It just isn't that good. Steam is full of some utter rubbish sometimes, and I honestly barely scratched the surface as to what the hell is on this stupid little app. But hey, at least we're not talking about the Nintendo Switch eShop. That would be utter hell.